Like, why do you guys put these expectations on a guy like Scotty? Raptors fans, what up? It's G-Man, player to be named later, back for another video. Shout out to all my Raptors fans. This is always my favorite video to do. Raptors Nation is so engaged, whether it's a losing season, a winning season. I love hearing all of it. I love the fact that the fan base and some of the media are now realizing what I shouted at the beginning of the season, what I've been screaming at all year. The team is actually good. The team should have never been in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. Now, I will admit, earlier in the season, I had a lot to say about Cooper Flag. I still have my doubts about him being a generational superstar in the same way that LeBron and Wemby were talked about, because he really isn't. He's a great player. He probably will be a superstar. I mean, at his age, what he did this season, and even last night, unfortunately they lost against Houston. But the thing is, what's interesting about that game against Houston plays probably the closest to an NBA game as I can imagine. They shoot threes, they play tough defense. As a Raptor, we've seen it this season with Jamal Shed. He's a direct correlation to that program, to what Kelvin Sampson does in Houston. What Cooper Flag faced last night is exactly what he's going to face every night. And he still put up 27. He really drove their team, but they couldn't close it out, unfortunately, for them. And when it comes to him, he's probably going to face that every night. Should he be the number one pick in this draft? Absolutely. I've definitely changed my tone. He is the best player in the NCAA and coming out. And yeah, as a Raptor fan, as Raptors fans, would it have been nice to get that number one pick? And who knows, the Raptors might still get that pick. You never know how the lottery turns out. It might still happen. But if they, I think any pick in the top 10 for the Raptors this season, they're going to get what they want. And I really trust in the scouting team, obviously, of the Raptors with, I've said it multiple times in videos with Masai, Bobby, and Dan Tolzman. They know what they're doing, and this team is really far along. So yeah, have their odds decreased for getting that number one pick? Of course they have. But it says a lot about the type of team they have, because one, the team that's been winning isn't even their full squad and isn't even their best players. A lot of the nights it's a mixture of, a little bit of Scotty, a little bit of IQ. Sometimes it's RJ, sometimes it's Yak, but it's not full time. A lot of minutes are going to Jamal Shed, Jacoby Walter, Jonathan Mobile, Jamison Battle, guys that we're probably going to see off the bench next year, which is great because even as a second unit, they're beating a lot of first units, or at least competing with them. And next year, they're going to know what to expect. You think about, from a health perspective, going into the season next year healthy, with a healthy Brandon Ingram, Scotty, RJ, IQ, Yakapurtle, whoever they pick in the draft this year. This team still won, what are they at right now? They're 28-50. They still won 28 games with that schedule. Remember, at one point they were 8-31. To really go, 20-19 since that time with an uneven lineup, with all the injuries. A big shout out to Darko. I've had my doubts about Darko also. But this team plays hard. They play defense. They're only going to get better defensively. I've read articles about whether we should give up on Scotty as a superstar. And why do you guys put these expectations on a guy like Scotty? Now, let me put it out there. Was Steph Curry a superstar in his first 3 years? No. Was Giannis? No. It took time for a lot of guys to become superstars. Now, I've said it before, there's not many superstars in the league. I never expected Scotty to be a superstar. Maybe a notch below? Sure, all-star, perennial all-star, who gets the all-stars every year or every other year. Yeah, that's the type of expectation, because that's what he said at the beginning of his career. But even then, I never thought he'd be a superstar. Did I think he'd develop and be an all-around player? Yes, and that's exactly what he's shown this year. He's taken a leap in terms of grabbing hold of this team as this is his team. He's a leader on this team, and he's the guy on this team, and everyone's gonna follow. And you add all the talent that's around him, plus the depth. This team looks really good next season. And again, you look at what the East is. You look at Detroit this year. Would I say they're more talented than the Raptors? No, I wouldn't. They've surrounded Cade Cunningham with, some good talent. Obviously, Jalen Duren is a great big man. They have toughness with Isaiah Stewart and some of their other veterans that they added. But in terms of overall talent, I put the Raptors right up next to them. And they're right up in there in the top 5, top 6 in the East. So the Raptors will compete. I don't care about all this talk about, if they're in the middle, then what's the point of being in the middle? Listen, the 2019 team was in the middle for 6 years. We enjoyed great playoff runs. They had to learn lessons. And even with those teams, what I don't get with all these expectations, and we saw it even with guys like Pascal and OG, not so much Fred, but Pascal and OG, when are they going to turn into superstars, and when are they going to take the next step? How new are you all as fans if that's what you think the Raptors, any player on the Raptors should be, like Scotty Barnes even? There was a time when DeMar worked on one skill in the offseason, and Raptors fans were like, oh my gosh, DeMar worked on his three-pointer, or he worked on his handle, or he worked on his footwork, and everyone was excited. Give these guys a chance to develop. Scotty's gone through a lot in his short career. He came into the league, and look, the Raptors were in flux. It was right after COVID. It was, the team was transitioning back to Toronto. He had to play one season where there was no fans in stands, basically. And you want him to be playing at superstar level right now? Get over yourselves, man. Let the guy develop, do his thing. I think he's had a great year in terms of becoming a leader and more defensively sound. That's, paying dividends with some of the younger guys who are watching him. Guys like Jacoby, who are going to put on muscle and get better defensively. I saw an interview with Jacoby Walter just this week where they were asking about his development, and the first thing he said, he took into account his team before himself. And that's where a lot of media and fans miss out. This is a team sport. And so Jacoby Walter's going to develop, and he has developed this season. You've seen his game. Haven't even talked about Grady yet. Grady's hurt. He's out for the rest of the season, which I think you should take the rest, get healthy for next season. I'm looking forward to how things are looking moving forward. A long time ago, I called out at a time where I didn't even really know how to pronounce the guy's name, but Kaman Malwatch. I said he was probably a guy to look out for. I still think Ace Bailey is a guy to look out for in terms of draft, and that's if the Raptors don't get the number 1 pick. Obviously, if they get the number 1 pick, everyone knows who they're going to pick. But even you have to look at in terms of if they want to pick up a Kaman Malwatch and, they get a top 4 or 5 pick that's not number 1, you might look to make a deal there. You're still able to pick Kaman Malwatch, but maybe you get another player that can slide into your depth. And in terms of next year, the Raptors could have a rotation where they see 10, 11 guys getting regular playing time. And I love that, because then you're not forcing guys to play 40 minutes a game, like Nick Nurse used to do. What Tibbs is doing in New York with his guys, he's forced to play his guys 40 minutes a game. I'd rather have the depth that the Raptors are showing ensures guys are, their top guys are going to be, in the 35-minute range, and younger guys are going to get good minutes because they know what to expect going to their second, third season and what they have to produce. So the Raptors are looking really good. Another thing I want to touch on really quickly with the Raptors, they're 28-50. They have the 7th worst record, so that's their odds at the lottery. So we kind of know where things stand with them and how they're looking going to next season. But I want to talk about, all this foolishness and absolute garbage that I'm not even going to talk about the podcast, but I'll name names. Thad Young, Gilbert Arenas, Lou Williams, Rudy Gay. You guys are just a bunch of clowns, okay? Now, I took a look at the schedule. First of all, you don't make 40 trips to America. I looked at the Raptors schedule. It's about 20 trips they make. 20 trips over October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 20 trips over 7 months. So you're literally talking about 3 trips a month. Sometimes it's 4 or 5, and then when it's 4 or 5 a month, then other months are much less. Maybe it's 1 or 2. And you guys, in the political climate of your country, you guys really have time to complain about how many customs checks you have to go through in a season? That's what you're worried about? Really? I've never heard this once from any baseball player, any hockey player. Austin Matthews, Matthew Nyes, they've never complained once about the number of customs trips they have to make. Baseball players, most of those guys are from the Dominican, Venezuela, Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the States. I don't think there's a couple of Canadians on the Jays right now. And those guys play 81 away games. Now, yes, obviously they play 3 games at a time per trip at least. A series is 3 games, but they have to go through probably as many trips, if not more than you. And they have to do it during the summer when there's probably more people traveling because kids are out of school. More people just travel in the summer, obviously, compared to winter. And you guys are there complaining, but I don't hear you complaining about what's going on with Jackie Robinson almost being deleted out of history because of your president. I don't want to bring a lot of politics into my sports talk, but it's absolutely disgusting that that's what you have to talk about. And then I hear a guy like Gilbert Arenas say if his son gets drafted by the Raptors, well, I guess he's going to have to speak Canadian. This from a guy who brought a gun into a locker room and collected his contract without playing ever again. Like, why should anyone you guys really make me sick over there, man. Honestly, you have a lot more to worry about than customs trips. Doing 20 customs trips over 7-month period. Like, that absolutely disgusts me. And what situation that young are you talking about? It puts you in a situation. Why? Like, as far as I know, you're a church-going man. If all you do is go to church, then you're not even made for Toronto. So why did you sign back here? Lou Williams, we know why you're angry. Masai didn't offer you a contract when you really wanted to come back. Rudy Gay, you got traded away and our team got instantly better once you were gone. Do any of you have rings? I don't think any of you have a ring. Like, maybe one of you does, but if you did, you didn't play a big role on that team. Because I honestly can't even remember. Maybe Lou Williams has a ring from the Lakers. But is that all you guys have to complain about? Like, really? Like, talk about something else. Talk about what's going on in your country, but you won't talk about that, right? And I know why you won't talk about that, because you're scared of your president. You're scared of your podcast probably being shut down somehow. Like, have some stones. Like, you guys talk in America. A lot of people, I'm not even going to be hyperbolic about it and say your entire country, but a lot of athletes, celebrities, and just people in general in America have a lot to say, let's say, about how strong you guys are, how strong your military is. And I salute all the veterans in America because the way they get treated is unreal. You have a lot to say, America. And what I'm seeing right now, praise to all of those who marched yesterday across 1,200 cities, and that was unreal showing. And I'm glad for those people standing up to your president. But where's all the talks now? All of a sudden, Joe Rogan has a lot less to say about Donald Trump. That's good. Now people are starting to break, right? But why don't you come out and say it? But, then I look at your institutions and your biggest law firms, your biggest universities are just capitulating to the guy. They're scared. They're scared of Donald Trump. Stand up to that orange clown once and for all. But you guys won't do it. Why? Unreal, man. Listen, for those athletes that want to talk about crossing the border, then don't become a professional athlete. Because guess what? Professional sports is not just played in America, it's played all over the world. And us here in Canada, we don't take that lightly. Obviously, you guys are just too soft. Oh, wow. You were delayed 2 or 3 hours at the border for whatever reason, your family. Then get your shit in order so that you're not delayed 2 or 3 hours. How about that? Just a thought. Spare me with all that crying. If you're a professional athlete and don't want to cross the border, then don't become a professional athlete, plain and simple. You guys are getting paid millions and millions of dollars when people can't even afford bread and eggs and a salad. It's actually disgusting that's what you have to complain about. I'm done. Y'all, Raptors fans, believe in the team, believe in what they're doing, believe in Masai, Bobby, and Dan Tolzman, how they're putting this team together, because next year is going to be a different story. Catch me on the next video. That's it for Raptors and NBA talk. Continue to watch me on TikTok, on YouTube, spread the word. I'll talk to you on the next video.